All right. So the first decision is, what do we want to eliminate? And we could do X, Y, or Z. But if we look at equations A and C, they're already opposite. So the easiest way, because we want to go easy, we want to make this easy for ourselves. The easiest variable to eliminate is Z. So we're going to start off by adding A and C together. So let's go ahead and write equation A and equation C. Okay, so we have X plus 5Y minus Z equals 16. 2X plus 4Y plus Z equals 20. So when I add these together, the Z is already opposite, so it's going to cancel. So what is X plus 2X? 5Y plus 4Y? 9Y. The Z canceled, and 16 plus 20, 36. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side. I can't do anything with that right now. And now we need to figure out a plan to get rid of Z again. So we're going to have to multiply. So the first thing we need to figure out is, which pair do we want to use? Do we want to do A and B or B and C? A and B? Okay, so if I'm doing A and B, what do I have to multiply this equation by to cancel out the Z? 2. Because if I multiply this equation by 2, that's going to change this to a negative 2, which will cancel it out when I add it to B. So what I want you to do with your calculator, and I'll pause for a second. Go ahead and get a calculator if you don't have one. If you feel you need one, go grab a calculator. But you're going to multiply equation A by 2. So this equation, I want you to multiply it by 2. So when I add A and B, I have to multiply A by 2. So that's going to be 2X plus 2 times 5 is 10Y. That's my minus 2Z. And that equals 2 times 16, which is 32. Now let's go ahead and write equation B under it. Now B did not need to get a makeover. That did not change. So go ahead and add these together. So now we need to figure out our plan to solve for X and Y. And unfortunately, we're going to have to multiply both in order to eliminate X or Y. So the first thing we need to figure out is, what do we want to eliminate? So do we want to get rid of X or Y? It doesn't matter. Which one do we want to get rid of? X? Okay, so if I want to get rid of X, then I need to multiply. What would be a way to get rid of X? I can multiply this equation by what? By 5, good. If I multiply the top equation by 5, then what do I need to multiply my second equation by? Not by 3, -3. Good job. All right, so go ahead, take your calculators. Multiply the top equation by 5 and the bottom equation by -3. All right, so we're ready to add these together. The x goes away because when we're adding, 15x minus 15x is 0. So we have 45y minus 21y, which is going to be 24y. Then in your calculators, take 180 minus 132. And what'd you get? 48. And now what do I need to do to solve for y? Divide by 24. So what does y equal? Now finding the first one is the hardest. If you find the first one, the other two are easy. So now you need to decide which equation do you want to use to find x. Do you want to use D or E? So we can't use A, B, or C because I need to know 2 and I only know 1. So I have to use D or E next. Doesn't matter which one. So which one do you want to pick? All right, I'm going to pick D. So D says 3x plus 9 times y, which we just figured out is 2. So go ahead and solve that for x. So who got x equals 6? Okay. So now that we know 2, we can go back to the top. So to find z, do we want to use A, B, or C? Which one? A. I heard somebody say A, so I'm going to go with A. So let's use equation A. So equation A says x plus 5y minus z equals 16. So we know x is 6. And we know that y is 2. Minus z equals 16. So we have 6 plus 10 minus z equals 16. Go ahead and solve that for z. So you should have 16 minus z equals 16. So subtract 16 from both sides. So that would be negative z equals 0. And when you divide both sides by negative 1, you still get 0. So who got z equals 0? Okay, so now I know all three, and let's write it in alphabetical order. So at the top, x is 6, y is 2, and z is 0. And that is your answer. Let's do one more example, and that is it for today. How do you guys feel about doing this on the quiz next week? With practice, with notes. You know, I think you just got to put in some effort. So, all right, let's do one more question. So, number 7 on page 30. So, the first thing we need to do is figure out our plan. So, looking at your x, y, and z, which variable do you think would be the easiest? Because we can do x, y, or z. But which one is it easiest to get rid of? Y. I agree. Because notice that in B and C, do you see how they're already opposite? Without multiplying, these are going to cancel. So I want you to start off by adding equation B to C. So go ahead and do that. Add your equation B to equation C. So when I add these together, I get negative 7x. The y's cancel. 3 minus 4 is negative 1z, and that equals 30. So this is my equation D. I'm going to set this to the side, and we need to eliminate y again. Now this time we will need to multiply something. So first we need to figure out which pair do we want to use. Do we want to go with A and B or A and C? We have to get rid of y again. I heard somebody say A and B. You want to do A and B? All right, or A and C. Let's take a vote. Who wants to do A and B? Who wants to do A and C? All right, A and C it is. So we're going to use A and C. And if I'm doing A and C, then what do I need to multiply this top equation by? Negative 3. Good, because I want to eliminate the y, and that's a positive 1. So what I want you to do with your calculator is take your equation A. You're going to multiply this by negative 3. So equation A, you're going to multiply by negative 3. So only equation A. And the one thing I could say is when you're doing this, you do not want to rush through this question. So you want to take your time. So I'm going to take equation A and multiply it by negative 3. So when I do that, I get negative 12x minus 3y minus 6z equals positive 12. I'm going to make sure I did that right before I proceed. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Okay, so that is correct. So now under that, I am going to write equation C. Equation C is negative 6x. Go ahead and add those together. So now that we have x and z, we have equations D and E, we need to make a decision. What do we want to get rid of? What do you think is the easiest to get rid of, x or z? Because we're going to have to multiply either way. I kind of think, because if we do z, we would only have to multiply one equation. But if I do x, I have to multiply them both. So let's get rid of z. And what do I need to multiply this by, though? Because so this is a negative 10. I need this to become a positive 10. So what do I need to multiply by negative 1 to create a positive 10? Negative 10. Good. So what I want you to do, so let me go ahead and write my equation D and E next to each other, is I want you to take this equation and multiply this by negative 10. Go ahead and take your equation D and multiply that by negative 10. So now we have that equation, and now we can add that to equation E. So I'm going to write this equation E. I'm going to bring that up. And now we can add these together and solve it for x. So let's go ahead and bring this up. So go ahead and solve that for x. So that's 70 minus 18. Make sure that is correct because I don't have a calculator, but pretty sure 70 minus 18 is 52. And then negative 300 plus 40. Okay. All right, go ahead and divide both sides by 52. So what did you get for x? Negative 5. Who got negative 5 for x? Okay. So now what are we going to do? So now we're going to go to either equation D or E and find Z. So D, I heard somebody say D. So I'm going to look at equation D. So equation D says negative 7. So we figured out that x is negative 5. And then minus 1z equals 30. Go ahead and solve that for z. Yes. So we have, let me come over here because I'm out of space. So we have negative 1z equals negative 5. divide by -1, and we have z equals +5. So who got 5 and 5? So far we got 2 5s. So now we need to go back to A, B, or C and find y. I definitely would say A looks like the easiest one to use. So let's go ahead and use equation A. So for equation A, it says 4x, so 4 times -5. And then it's plus y, which is the one we don't know. And then plus 2 times z, which z is also 5. Wait a minute, hold on. X is -5 and z is +5. So yeah, +5 goes here. And that's going to equal -4. So let's go ahead and solve that. So x is -5, z is +5. So when we multiply these two together, that would be -20 plus y plus 10 equals -4. Go ahead and finish it out. Solve that for y. So you can also, so I always combine like terms, but you can also add the 20 and then subtract the 10. And either way, you should get y equals 6. So my solution, written as an ordered pair, starting with x. X is -5, and then y is +6, and z is +5. And that is my solution. Just a reminder that homework 6 is due tomorrow. There are 6 homework assignments for a total of 90 points. Go ahead, take out your devices and start working on your homework. If you have any questions, please ask the question.